Next, parents are being urged to set regular bedtimes for their children after researchers found a link between inconsistent sleeping patterns and brain development. Looking at more than 11,000 7-year-olds, they found that at the age of 3, non-regular bedtimes were linked with lower reading, maths and spatial awareness scores for both boys and girls. At 7, girls who went to bed at irregular times had lower scores than boys, and youngsters who have no regular bedtime at all or who go to bed after 9 at night tended to come from more socially disadvantaged backgrounds. Or we asked some parents what they made of the advice to install regular bedtimes.
Totally agree. In bed for 7 o'clock, sleeps 12 hours. Totally agree with it.
I think it's really important that they can't concentrate at school unless they go to bed at a reasonable hour. What hour is that then, children?
9 o'clock. 9.
I think all children need 12 hours sleep every night for their brains and so that they're nice the next day.
Let's get more now on this from the child sleep expert, Jo Tantum. Thank you for coming in. Parents there clearly wanting to get their children to bed. What about those who do want to but struggle to get that routine going?
I think once children are overtired, then they become a little bit of a nightmare because they're overtired. I mean, when we get overtired, we get grumpy too. So I think making sure that they know exactly what time bedtime is. So, you know, explaining to the children this is bedtime and having a sort of routine that leads up to that. So not kind of in front of the TV 1 minute and then upstairs to bed. It's almost like a punishment. So I think it definitely needs to be, you know, let's have a bath time, let's have stories, and it's a real nice wind down time so that their brains can unwind as well, and then they'll have more restful sleep.
Do you think we're hearing from this research that children who don't have regular bedtimes do worse at school? But do you think it's fair to say that, or do you think other factors in their lifestyles and their background could come into play?
I think there are lots of factors, but it is actually a fact that children and babies that are very overtired, the reason they're overtired is they're not going into the deeper sleep. And it's the deeper sleep patterns that the research has shown is helps babies and children more aware of and then can concentrate, that obviously the reading and the maths at school. And so if they have a regular bedtime, what you forget is if they go to bed at 9 o'clock, they're going to be getting up a lot earlier than 9 o'clock in the morning because they have to go to school. So what they're doing is they're losing a few hours sleep every day, and then they're becoming overtired. So there's this vicious cycle. So they do need to go into a deeper sleep. If you're overtired, you go into lots of light sleep and not the deeper sleep. So you need to start as soon as possible.
I don't want to reopen the whole Gina Ford debate, but I know you've got experience with babies. When would you start? When would you advise trying to get children into that kind of routine? How early on?
I think it depends on all, you know, different parents, because it's when you're comfortable to start a routine. I mean, as a maternity nurse, I started, you know, babies very, very young, but babies have natural patterns, and I think this is the difference: is you have to check your baby's natural patterns, not a routine that is fixed. It has to be natural to your baby and your baby's routine, because all babies are different. So I think it's flexible routines based on your baby's natural patterns.
Sounds like sage advice, Jo Tantum. Thank you for coming in to talk to me. Thank you. And finally,